everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com, coming to you with Scott Reichel, doing our one and only Friday football show on the NCAA. Scott, this is the one where you and I actually compete against each other for the coveted.
I can't believe it. We did not tie. We did not tie last week. Well, you technically tied. I did not.
And that's why we didn't tie. I went 1-1 as I had Cincinnati to cover 21. They pushed. I had North Texas against the dreadful Southern Miss team, and that Southern Miss team showed up. And the one that you loved, I had the Army Black Knights
minus 20, minus 30. Who cares?
To cover 30. Another no sweat victory as they busted a run.
You're just the king of the backdoor covers. You had East Carolina the week prior, Army also, yeah.
Got to play 60 minutes, buddy. Yes, don't cash those tickets until the game's over. Unless you're a Chiefs winning the AFC West, then you can go ahead and cash it down. But
yep.
I went 1-1. Scott, how'd you do?
I went 2-1. I was trying to get the sweep. Unfortunately, Mississippi State. Apparently, they did not need more cowbell as they completely just were awful against Arkansas. And I actually lost out on a pretty big parlay on my last pick being Mississippi State. So I was kind of salty about that. But it happens. Other than that, I ended up cashing the under with the Navy Air Force game. That went under by half a point.
Yeah,
it was a very good play. You had 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It wasn't close. And then Navy, of course, goes for it at their own 20, down like 14, and then Air Force scores immediately. And yeah, it got dicey at the end, but it really shouldn't have been. That was a pretty easy under. Air Force, really, really good. Yeah. Really good team. And I know that you're going to hear about that from triple option teams and Navy not being good at all. Wow, that Air Force team can play. They are something else, I'll tell you that much. And after last year's big bowl win, I guess, against Washington State and Mike Leach, they're going to be headed back to they're going to be going bowling again. They're really good. So I ended up winning with that. And I also had Georgia State minus 1.5 against East Carolina. And they absolutely just torched East Carolina's defense, and they won that game by double digits. So overall, pretty solid Saturday.
Yeah, the Pirates don't put up a ton of resistance.
Yep. All
right. So with that being said, we're both profitable heading into this week. So that's
I've gone 2-1 each of the last I believe 3. Is it 3 or 4 weeks? I think it's 3.
You went 1 and 2 to start, and then went 2-1 for 3 weeks in a row. So
yeah, that's how I drew it up.
All right. So let's see if we can take care of that, and let me cut into that half game lead that you have.
Well, since I got home field advantage now, I'll let you go first.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to start with the big battle there in the ACC, Scott, as the Miami Hurricanes take on the Clemson Tigers. You know, Clemson Tigers, they're certainly a good team. They're ranked number 1 in the nation right now, but they struggled a little bit last week for just winning by 18 against a pretty good Virginia team. And I think this Miami team is a better team, and Tigers a little bit banged up on defense. You know, they're not used to playing midseason games.
The Eric King guy, pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm a big fan of this Miami defense. I think this Miami defense may be the best defense that the Clemson Tigers are going to face.
Which is kind of funny because Miami's actually missing their best defensive player who opted out for the NFL draft. So they actually could be even better if they had.
Yeah. This unit could even be better right now. So I'm going to take the Canes, and I'm going to take my 14 points, and I'm going to I'm going to see what happens, and hopefully no one will be able to give me shit for fading the Clemson Tigers. So
yeah, it's
not an enviable position to be fading Clemson, but I think Miami, they're going to have a little something for them on Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely think that'll be a good game. I'll be watching that. My first play, I'm going to be going to one of the early primetime games that has pretty much none of the luster that it had going into the season. It's going to be on the Red River rivalry. It's going to be between Oklahoma and Texas.
Ooh.
And what's the rule about Big 12 defenses?
They don't exist?
Correct. So I'm going to go with the over. I'm going to take the over 72 at minus 112 on Bet Online. It was pretty much 72.5 market wide, but Bull had 72. So I'm going to go with 72 there. I know that total sounds very high. It is. Texas is still averaging 51 points per game. Oklahoma is still averaging 37.7. Oklahoma is allowing technically 25 points per game, even though that's because they gave up 0 points to Missouri State. And ever since that game against real opponents, they've given up 38 to Kansas State and 37 to Iowa State. This team can't stop a nosebleed, let alone Sam Ehlinger. So I think that after Texas was able to score at least 59 points in 2 of its first 3 games, against TCU, they only scored 31. Should have been 38. Running back fumbles at the 1-yard line with about 2 minutes to go. So they could have broken 70 there as well. Just a matter of both defenses are awful. And Rattler, I'm not a big fan of, but I do recognize the arm talent that he has. Oklahoma's in a must-win situation because if they go 1-3, I don't want to say that Lincoln Riley's in the hot seat, but wow, that'll be a massive problem. And, simply put, you have Ehlinger, you have Rattler, you have 2 pedestrian defenses. I see points galore. I think both teams should get into the mid to high 30s. I see 38, 35, potentially, hell, even 41, 38. I think this game will be a track meet.
It's one of those games you go, I don't know how in the world is 72. That's just way too high. And then it's 21-7 after the first quarter, and you go, oh, okay, now I get it.
See, the way that you should think about it is every time a defense gets a stop, are they breaking out the champagne? And I think the answer is yes.
An angel gets its wings.
Yes. So it's a matter of, is the defensive coordinator getting a Gatorade bath after every 3 and out? And the answer is yes, because it's not going to happen. So I'm going to go with the over. Truth is, we talked about before, really not the greatest college football card, at least in my opinion, in terms of finding value. I found it pretty tough to find 3 games. But Oklahoma, Texas, I'm going to bank on points, and hopefully they don't settle for field goals in the red zone.
All right. I'm going to take a look at what could be the best team in the nation as the Georgia Bulldogs host the Tennessee Volunteers.
How good was Georgia last week?
What's that?
How good was Georgia last week?
Well, they're very good, and we're going to see if they're going to give me the old okie doke because I'm backing them this week, minus the 12.5 points. Speaking of defense, I am all in on this Georgia defense.
Their offense also looked a lot better with Daniels at quarterback.
Yeah, they do. Now they got Stetson Bennett looked good last week for the Bulldogs. He's got tremendous talent at the skill positions. I think this Georgia offense is underrated. This is a volunteer team that looked good against South Carolina and Mizzou. Congratulations. Here's your prize.
Tennessee's just happy to be ranked at this point after so many years of pain.
Yeah, that's a good thing for Rocky Top Nation. But I feel for them this week trying to go up against this Georgia defense. This is a team that they don't give up anything at all.
Now, I just want to ask, would you say that the reason for Auburn's struggles last week was because Georgia's defense is really good, because Bo Nix is extremely overrated, or because of both? Because I have never been a Bo Nix guy, and I don't understand the appeal.
No, I think anytime you play in the SEC,
you understand the appeal of Bo Nix? I don't get it.
Well,
I know he's still very young. I don't get it. I watch him play. He looks like a poor man Sam Ehlinger. I don't know what
another 5-star recruit that they got a lot of hype because he went to the
can't
SEC.
Throw.
Huh?
He can't throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, I know it's definitely a struggle, and I think I do think that part of that is due to the quality of the Georgia defense.
Oh, it definitely is. I'm just asking you, just for also the people at home. I can't blame them for taking Georgia after they smacked Auburn. Now they're at home again against Tennessee. I'm just acknowledging. But people were shocked, like, oh, Bo Nix, like he's this guy. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not even close to this guy.
Not yet.
Georgia absolutely smacked them. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen with Tennessee's quarterback, because I don't think Tennessee's quarterback's very good.
No, I agree. And this is a Georgia team. While they may not be super on offense.
They are physical defensive.
Yeah, I think putting up 3 touchdowns, I think putting up 21-24 easily gets the cover here.
Does Tennessee score 17 points? I don't even know.
Not a chance.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know.
No, I do.
I
Not a
might
chance.
finish with 13, and you're like, all right, cool. Georgia.
I think 13-14 is a much more
Yeah,
realistic.
I see 28-13, something like that in this game.
That's exactly right. I would be tempted. I would be tempted by the total in this one. And I was looking real quick to see what that is, because I know it's like it was 41-42. You got a total
I see 42.5, 43.
42.5. I'd be tempted by that, but I'm not sure this Tennessee defense
I
does.
said 28-13, so that's roughly right around that ballpark. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this Tennessee defense gets worn down just by being on the field the entire game.
Plus, Daniels could easily burn somebody over the top because they have a lot of talent at the receiver position.
Yeah,
Daniels has a cannon. He can let that ball fly.
Daniels isn't going to start, dude. It's going to be Stetson.
Really?
It's going to be Stetson Bennett.
My bad. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. I
You're
don't know
right.
why I thought it was Daniels. My bad.
You're all right, buddy. It happens. We look at a lot of games.
Yeah, that's fair. Wait, did Daniels even play against Auburn? Or am I going completely nuts?
I don't think he played.
Never mind. Then Bennett was very good. I didn't really watch much of the game. I was watching the UFC card. I thought that it was Daniels at quarterback. I guess it was not. My bad. Either or, Jordan was very good.
Yeah, no, Bennett played the whole game. He was 17, 28, 240, one.
Bennett looked sharp then. I thought it was Daniels, but Bennett looked sharp.
And you're right. Bo Nix was dreadful. 21 to 40, 170.
Oh, he can't throw.
One pick. Yeah, not good at all.
That part I was right about. Apparently, I got Georgia's quarterback completely wrong with a separate story. Georgia's still very good.
Okay, good enough. All right, so I'll take Georgia for my second pick right there to take care of business against Tennessee. Who you got for your number 2, buddy?
So my second pick, it's going to be in a matchup between UTEP and Louisiana Tech.
Woo!
It's going to be on Louisiana Tech. I'm going to take them minus the 14, which is available on Fox Bet at minus 110. A couple reasons why I like Louisiana Tech here. First of all, people might overreact to what happened last week and go, oh, Louisiana Tech lost to BYU by 31. Do you know how good BYU is?
Probably top 5.
I have a future ticket on them to win the title. Like I put money on
that.
Yeah, they are ridiculously good.
Yes.
And I know that BYU's strength of schedule is going to be a massive issue later on, but BYU from top to bottom is a very, very good team.
Well, they are playing. They were able to add Boise State and San Diego State at the end of the season. So.
Yeah, I know. They don't really have a Power 5 in there, which I kind of wanted them to get, but they didn't get that. But we'll see. Either or, Louisiana Tech was very good offensively the first 2 games of the season. They were extremely shorthanded against Southern Miss, missing double-digit players. They won anyway, scored 31 points. Played Houston Baptist. Defense was not good, but they ended up putting up 66 points. And the offense struggled against BYU. Zach Wilson goes 24 of 26. Well, he's also a potential Heisman candidate. But Louisiana Tech still is a very solid team. UTEP, I know that UTEP's 3-1, which is the best record they might have had in program history. Because
is that more victories than they've had in the last 4 seasons put together?
Could be. But if you look at who UTEP's played, they haven't played anybody. They ended up beating SF Austin FCS school by 10. That game was close. They beat Abilene Christian by 4. They beat Ewell Monroe, who might be the worst team in the entire D1 FBS.
You'd think so, except I faded them last week and they took care of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying they won that game handily. Then the one time they played a real opponent in Texas, they lost by 56. Now, is Louisiana Tech good enough to be compared to Texas? No, but Louisiana Tech did play Friday, had an extra day. They're going to be pissed off after BYU beat the brakes off them. I think they'll return the favor to UTEP. I think Louisiana Tech, with Holtz's system, are just going to play at a fast pace. I think they'll just overwhelm UTEP with their speed. UTEP's offense still not good, 3-1, but they're averaging 18.8 points per game. Louisiana Tech's averaging 37. I think they'll win this game going away, probably 35-14, something like that. So I'm going to go with Louisiana Tech.
All right, solid. How about
you have any thoughts on that?
I don't hate it. You could do worse in a college football season than to fade UTEP blindly.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
So
yeah,
I'm not impressed with 3 FCS wins.
Do you think that plays a factor, by the way, when a team gets the brakes beaten off them and now they turn around and face a massively inferior team? Do you think that carries over to the next game by basically saying, we dealt with a lot of punishment last week, now it's time to give some out?
I think so. I think it depends on the coach. I think it depends on the makeup of the team.
I think Holtz is going to try to – I don't want to say he's going to try to up the score here, but it wouldn't surprise me if La Tech gets to 35-40 in this season.
I agree with that. I think that's solid. My last play is going to come from the Big 12, Scott. I'm going to look at the Texas Tech Red Raiders heading up there to Ames to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. Texas Tech, 12.5-point dog. I'm going to back the dogs here, buddy. I'm going to play.
Who's going to be the quarterback for them? Because I know Bowman got injured. Is it going to be Colombi?
Colombi. If Bowman can't go, and it looks like Bowman may be able to go, so that's. Okay. But Colombi played fairly well against K-State last week.
He was fine. He had an awful interception late in the game, but overall he was fine.
Yeah, which I would say K-State is a comparable defense to Iowa State. The one thing Iowa State does really well is they get after the passer, but that really doesn't matter against Texas Tech. They've given up just one sack on the season because of the way that air raid offense works. Everything is quick releases. Everything is angles and everything is quick releases, 3-step drops. So I don't expect Iowa's pass rush to come into play here. The Cyclones, they're going to want to be methodical. They're going to want to try to drain that clock as much as possible. But I think Texas Tech is going to be able to have some success, and they're going to force Iowa State kind of out of their game a little bit. Now, make no mistake, this is a bad Tech defense, man. Anytime you let K-State put up 31 on you, you ain't good. But
or the backup quarterback put up 31.
What's that?
With a backup quarterback putting up 31.
Yeah.
For part of it. They gave up that really bad touchdown drive at the end of the game.
I think Skylar Thompson went out in the third quarter.
Yeah. The true freshman wasn't bad, though.
No, he was fine. We've talked about this before. Of all the players playing D1, I probably saw Skylar Thompson the most. I think we saw them play 6 games.
I think he's fine. Whatever.
But yeah, his arm strength never impressed me.
No, he's just a good runner.
Yeah, that's what he was in high school. He was a good running quarterback. I think Texas Tech can keep it close. Give me the Red Raiders plus 12.5.
We'll just touch upon that quickly. I know I talked about how low I think of Bo Nix. I'm not a Brock Purdy guy either. I think Purdy's fine. He's okay when he's not throwing the ball backwards to the opponent about 2-3 weeks ago. You ever see that play?
No. Which game?
How have you not seen that play?
What was it?
Wow. Okay, Purdy was playing against TCU a couple weeks ago, and he was in the middle of being sacked, and he spun around and chucked the ball backwards right into the
guy was wide open. I did see that play.
The defender was wide open, 10 yards.
He's standing by himself like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
I think that's the worst football play I've seen, and I think it's actually worse than the butt fumble. I think that play is actually worse, and I know that sounds.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That is awful, but anyway.
Yeah, I do know that play.
I'm not a big Purdy guy. I think Texas Tech could cover through the back door, lose by 10, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's possible. Yeah, Purdy's kind of been exposed this season. He was supposed to be on the
supposed to be a fringe draft prospect. Maybe he'll go in like the 6th or 7th round, but there's really not much there.
All right, and then what's your third one, bud?
So my last play, I'm gonna be going with a total again. It's going to be in a matchup, an in-state matchup between Central Arkansas and Arkansas State, and I'm gonna be going with the over 62.5, which is available on Bet Online at -110. Couple reasons why I like the over in the spot. First of all, both these teams are not good defensively. Central Arkansas ended up playing against North Dakota State with Trey Lance, the projected top 5 draft pick against them. They gave up 39. Overall, they hung tough, but their defense isn't very good. They gave up 45 to UAB. Out of the UAB's offense is that prolific. It's fine, but 45 points to UAB is not exactly a good look. They went under in 2 other games against FCS opponents, but Arkansas State, they gave up 52 to Coastal at home. They gave up 52 to Coastal. They ended up beating Kansas State, impressive win. Gave up 37 to Memphis. They have a 2-quarterback system there with Hatcher and Bonner, which I think works pretty well. They can score points in Anderson's system. Defensively, they are not good at all. You give up 52 to Coastal. I think that tells you all you need to know. At the end of the day, I think
Coastal's having a hell of a season.
I know they are because they beat Kansas by 50. Yeah, I know, but come on, 52-20. He got murdered. I mean, that's just a really, really bad look. But anyway, Central Arkansas actually has the ability to throw the ball. They're kind of balanced offensively. I do like the offense they have. North Dakota State tends to have a very good defense for an FCS school. They did score 28, which I thought was impressive. Arkansas State, I think, will give up 30-plus potentially in this spot, maybe even score 40 here. I just think 62.5 is way too low because I can see both teams getting into the 30s here. So for me, I think this game finishes probably around, I'd say 41-30, give or take. I just think 62.5 is way too low. So my play of the day there, or my third college football pick, is going to be on Central Arkansas, Arkansas State over 62.5.
All right. Yeah, I don't.
You probably have no thoughts on that because that involves looking into both teams. And
I don't love that one. This is a Central Arkansas team that's they've definitely had their offensive struggles, and I think that there's stepping up in class.
I'm just saying Arkansas State's defense is, I don't even know if it is a step up in class compared to North Dakota State.
No,
I think North Dakota State's defense might be better than Arkansas State's. That defense is awful.
I would agree, but problem is this is a team that just put up 24 on Austin Peay. You know, they're I don't love them, but
I thought Austin Peay run some type of never mind. I thought Austin Peay ran some type of like fringe option system, but never mind. They ran the ball 38 times. They're more of a clock eating type of team, but yeah, I don't know. It's mostly just fading Arkansas State's defense and just trying to hope that both offenses move the chain, so to speak.
Do enough. Okay. All right. So Central Arkansas.
It's just a number spot. I think you'll agree Arkansas State anytime that they're lower than 65 on a total. It's decent value because they can't stop anybody.
Something you got to take a look at. All right. So just to recap, my three picks are the Miami Hurricanes in the big game of the day, plus 14. The Georgia Bulldogs, another matchup of top 10 teams there, minus 12.5. And the Texas Tech Red Raiders over Iowa State, Texas Tech catching 12.5. Scott, your picks?
So I got Oklahoma, Texas over 72 and minus 112 on Bet Online. I got Louisiana Tech minus 14 and minus 110 on Fox Bet against UTEP. And I have Central Arkansas and Arkansas State over 62.5, which is available at minus 110 on Bet Online.
All right, very good. All right, there you have it, everybody. Let's let the chips fall where they may. Let the best man win, and enjoy another Saturday of college football. Despite Scott's grumblings about the quality of the schedule, I think there are some good games out there.
I think the games are entertaining. I meant from trying to find value from a betting perspective. I thought
it is a different situation from a betting perspective. There are
a lot of entertaining games. There's just some games looking at, for example, like the Notre Dame Florida State game. So like Florida State's terrible. Notre Dame hasn't played in 2 weeks. Do I really want to lay 20? Not really. But
yeah, I was tempted by that one. I just
there are a couple of games where I'm looking at and I'm like, I don't really like the spot, but I'd lean this direction, and that's how I felt about half the card. So
yeah, agreed. It was usually I'll run through the college card, and I'll start with like 8 or 10 games I really like.
Yeah, usually there's a couple games that jump off the page, and I just
thought and then you whittle down from there. I worked the other way. I started with 0 and then had to had to fill up my card. So. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll see what happens. We grumble and bitch about the quality. That guarantees 3-0 week for both of us. So you guys could do worse than the back.
I'll take a 3-0 week. I'm not going to complain. Based on my recent history, I'm either going 1-2 or 2-1. So we'll see what happens.
All right, there you go. That's our NCAA football show for today. As always, please don't forget to like our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, if you're looking for deep dives into every one of these games, and that's Winners and Winers is a good resource the entire year, but it is a top-notch resource for college football and college basketball because there's a lot of teams that the average fan doesn't have time to follow. The Arkansas State, Central Arkansas, for example, the rest of America, they got lives. They ain't checking out the Purple Bears or whatever the hell it is. So that's what our job over here at winnersandwiners.com is, and we do a fantastic job. So make sure you stop by and check out that. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Winers, we appreciate you guys watching, of course. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow and check us out on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.